Hey everyone, Lawrence here from StudioHawk, and today we're going to be talking about SEO for category pages on e-commerce websites. A little bit more niche, a little bit more specific, but I think from my experience working with an e-commerce website, at the heart of it, the real nuts and bolts really starts happening around the category pages that you set out. So I wanted to get to the heart of what is going to really move the needle for e-commerce websites and provide some really useful information and guidelines on what to do with them, because there's a lot to play with and you can get some great results and great ROI out of optimizing your category pages. So let's dive into it. So the first question would be, what's a category page? Some people say collection page, some people say top line page, or they appear in the main nav, but what are they? So I'm going to show you some examples of how they look like in some great websites. So I asked the SEO team actually for an example of a really rockstar stellar e-commerce category page. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. It's not the most exciting website in terms of the products they sell. It's Lowe's in America, but they do have a really well built out category page or category pages for their particular products that they sell. So let's have a look through. So this would be their main homepage, and if I dive through and go to shop, and let's look at something like appliances. So you would class this as their top line category page, and they have actually subcategories through that, talking about refrigerators, washers and dryers, and dishwashers, and they've set this out for a particular reason. Because they know if people are looking for appliances, they're not going to just be Googling just appliances. It's a very general topic. They're going to be looking for something specific like a refrigerator, a particular brand of refrigerator, a particular size. So they've set out their website to be able to match that search intent. If I went to the refrigerators category, again, I've gone to another layer. It's like Inception here. I've got French door refrigerators, side by side. There's all these different topics. But if I go down and start looking through this actual category page, they've set this out really smartly in a way that's trying to optimize for the best, crawlability, the best user experience, and also a lot of things around the actual content they're providing to be really relevant for those search results that people are looking for. So I'm scrolling through, and they have so much stuff on this category page. It's actually insane. By feature, they're linking out to more subcategories too. And down the bottom, you can see some links out to more niche topics and also relevant products, and a huge amount of content on the page, what we call below the fold, which has relevant keywords. It's relevant to the topic of refrigerators, and the linking out to different products as well. So this would be an example of a company with a really big SEO focused around what they're doing with their e-commerce website. Another example, a little bit more niche to Australia, is HiFi, a really reputable brand in Australia. They've done a lot of work around their categories too. If we go through and look at TVs, look at even like a brand page like LG, above the fold they'll have a little snippet of content that appears and actually crawled by Google, again addressing or trying to optimize for specific keywords. All their products really neatly set out, even product reviews. And they don't have any below the fold content, but I think this is probably a play for them trying to optimize for something a little bit different and also trying to keep it really neat and tidy. So I'm showing you two examples here, and you can see the difference. Both are really great in different ways. Lowe's has a really big, really big page with a lot of things going on. HiFi's is a little bit more scaled back and neat, but I know for a fact they've considered SEO in their approach, and I'm going to dive through different ways that they've done this. So the first part is they've done their research. They've obviously set up their websites in a specific way to optimize for different keywords. They've set up the category, for example, from HiFi. They know that people are going to be searching for a particular size of TV or a particular brand of TV, so they've actually created content around that. The best way of doing that is if you have a brand and you're selling a particular type of product and you know who your competitors are, and you know the big competitors in this space and they're ranking really well, go through their website. If you're a skincare brand and you want to compete against one of the biggest skincare brands in the world and you know they rank really well, go through their website, look how it's structured out, look how they've named their categories even. It's going to show you a lot of important information about how they've set out their website. And rest assured, if they're doing really well in SEO and they're ranking on the first page, they've put a lot of thought into it too. So something to take inspiration from and actually apply to how you build out your website. The second part, after you've done your research, is setting out the right meta tags, so the right title tag and meta description. Now, there's a big rabbit hole of information you can go down about how to optimize for these, but simple, logical common sense really reigns supreme in that sense. what would be really interesting to see is actually what Lowe's do with their title tags, and I've got an example here. I've done a quick site command on the site to see actually how their title tag and meta description appear in SERPs, and this is what it looks like for their bottom freezer refrigerators page. They've gone with a really simple title tag. Like, it's not over optimized, it's very clean, and they're obviously optimizing for the keyword search bottom freezer refrigerators, something really specific. I've actually never heard of a bottom freezer refrigerator before, just Googling it just then, but it makes sense to me. It's when the freezer's at the bottom. So people would obviously be searching for this. And if I actually go to a keyword search, well, Google's already automatically suggested this keyword search for me. And even though I'm Googling in Australia, again, Google's understanding of that relevance between the title tag that Lowe's is presenting and the page that it's supposed to be attached to. So they've done this really smartly. Looking at their meta description as well, it looks like Google's pulled out just a short snippet of information from the website. Google will kind of assume things about a page. So if you haven't set out a meta description, it will just pull some information from the page. That, in that sense, having a really good snippet of content on the page that's really relevant to the topic and the products that are presented would be great to be able to capture that and present that on SERPs. So that's how Google addresses that. So two really simple things. They've just got a really relevant title tag and also a meta description pulled through content that makes sense. Two great ways to optimize your category pages. So you've got your title tags and meta descriptions set out. Now it's time to address the actual category content. We use a lot of different phrases for this: category snippets, category content, above the fold content, below the fold content. Essentially, it's just a short piece of information written out for that particular category page to be able to optimize for keywords. JB Hi-Fi have a really clean way of doing it, where they've got it right below the main heading of the page and just says, get the latest technology and designs at JB Hi-Fi for wireless Bluetooth headphones. You can even see on the page how they've set this out, where they say wireless Bluetooth headphones. They have it again here. They talk about the brands that they sell. If you love music looking good, you'll love our in-ear, over-ear, on-ear wireless headphones. So this is a way that they've actually naturally splayed out some keywords and semantically related keywords in a really short snippet of content. You don't need to overthink these things. You just need to have something there in place that's addressing the right information and relevant to the page it serves. If you started talking about different things on the page, like speakers, it might take away from the relevance of the page and the topic that it's trying to present. So be really careful and be really mindful of keeping the page itself really relevant to the products that you're selling on it, and keep the category content really specific to that information as well. You can definitely go down too much of a route of having to add in a lot of different keywords because you think it makes sense, but you got to bring it back to the actual topic. So they've done that really neatly here, and they haven't put in a huge amount of content around it either, but it's still a great snippet of content to have on the category page. So a couple of last things about keeping your e-commerce category pages really optimized and firing along in search is keeping them updated. A lot of what happens, what we see happen in SEO is pages just go a little bit unloved for a long time, and a category will not be touched in maybe almost even a year sometimes, and they'll have irrelevant products on there. There's new information that could be presented on there really well and really relevant to the audience that you're trying to address to. New products, people miss out on putting new products in the right category. So always find an opportunity to keep them updated and keep that locked in the cadence of optimizing your website and reviewing things too. And you can do a lot of tests. You can do a lot of A/B testing with different categories, either creating new ones that are relevant to specific niche searches or merging categories together. If you had a category called, shoes, and it had men's and women's shoes in it, I know for a fact that people will be searching women's shoes and men's shoes really specifically because that's the type of shoes they want. If you just had an overall category for one thing, why not split that out into two? So you can do some really fun stuff with the right keyword research methodology to find out what your users are searching and how you can really target anything specific that they're looking for, because Google really love that. Example I showed before about bottom mounted freezers, absolutely that's something they've looked at and gone, there's enough searches around this particular thing that they needed to create a different category around that. So there's a lot of fun optimization you can do around that too. I've talked a lot about on-page optimization, title tags, keyword research and things like that, but talking briefly about off-page SEO, what we see a lot of the time in e-commerce websites is a lot of backlinks go towards the homepage. A really smart play would actually be building a lot of really high quality, niche relevant links to category pages as well, because I've seen the effect of having a page that existed for a long time and just having one really relevant blog article linking to it finally after years can actually give it a really good boost in search. Even taking this example from JB Hi-Fi and looking through their backlink profile on something like SEMrush, you can see that they've got 94 referring domains actually linked to that specific category page. If that had 0 links pointing towards it, I don't think it would rank as well as it currently would. Just looking at how they've optimized the page, which is ticking all the right boxes from an on-page perspective, from an off-page perspective, you're really going to build that authority over time. So you can be really apt to actually go and create a link strategy around these particular categories that you're trying to really push forward in the website, reaching out to really relevant domains to get them talking about your products and the things you sell, and actually gaining links from them to build over time. Of course, with any link building methodology, it's got to be white hat. You've got to have a really relevant blog that's linking out to you, or website that's linking out to you, and a high authority score. There's different ways to track that, but essentially if it's a good quality link coming from a really reputable website, it's going to have a really good impact on those category pages you link those to. So some of the practices I've talked about in this video, from looking at title tags, from creating category content and optimizing for those searches, there's a lot of growth potential. And what we find most of the time when getting involved in an e-commerce website, the homepage is rocking. The homepage is flying in terms of branded searches that are coming towards it. Those categories that you've created over time, they haven't seen the love. They sometimes get ignored. It can be really great to get your hands dirty, get in there, look at optimizing them, creating new internal linking opportunities. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can do. So if anything you take away from this video, if you do one thing around optimizing a couple title tags or meta descriptions on a category that you know has been sitting there for a while, definitely do it. It's really practical, easy, and once you see the results, it gets even more fun. So those are my tips for optimizing your category pages for e-commerce websites.